Now, if you're thinking about selling your home in the Sarasota area and you're using a service like Zillow, Redfin, or any other online portal to get a value for your home, you need to stop, because that same algorithm convinced Zillow to lose over $500 million in a single year. And that's the number that you're trusting to find the price for your property. Look, I have helped hundreds of homeowners across the country, and the number one reason that deals fall apart or homes get ignored altogether almost always comes back to one thing. The price that they set was wrong when they hit the market. And right now, a lot of that information is coming from the data that you're using from these online portals. Now, here's what people don't realize about the market here in Sarasota right now. We're not in 2021 anymore, but we're also not in a crash. We're in a period of what essentially is a recalibration. And that means that the old rules about pricing, they don't apply the way they used to. Buyers are more informed, they have more options, and they are doing their online research too. The difference is they're using these tools to shop. They're not using them to price like you're trying to do. But here's the elephant in the room, guys. The Z estimate. Sounds official. It's right there on their homepage. But here's what sellers never hear. Zillow themselves, they tried to use their own algorithm to buy homes across the country. They called it their Zillow Offers program. The idea was pretty simple. They used their AI to predict where home values would be. They would buy low. They would sell high. They would map it out across the country. By 2021, they had purchased nearly $1 billion worth of real estate. By the end of that same year, they shut down the program entirely after losing over $500 million in a single quarter. That's a billion with a B. They couldn't even trust their own algorithm, so why would you price your home according to what they tell you your home is worth? But the algorithm problem is just the first layer. The second mistake is one that even experienced sellers seem to fall into. Now, a lot of home sellers think, what I'll do is I will price it high and see what happens, and if I need to drop the price, that's what I'll do. I'm going to feel safe, but it's actually the most expensive strategy that you can use. Now, the first 2 to 3 weeks that your home is on the market, that's when you have more eyeballs on your property. That's when you get the most showings. That's when you have the maximum momentum for your property. And if the price is wrong, buyers are going to scroll past. And once a home sits on the market, it starts to get stigmatized. People start to wonder, why has this home not sold? Price reductions start to signal weakness to the marketplace, and they start to invite lowball offers on your property. You don't get a second chance when you put your home on the market to make that first impression with the most engaged buyers in the marketplace. So that brings the question, so if pricing too high kills deals, does pricing aggressively too low actually work? And this is where strategy really comes in. There's a world of difference between pricing your home too low and pricing it strategically. Strategic pricing means reading where the current market is, understanding what activity is happening, not looking at last year's numbers, not Zillow's, and not landing on a number that doesn't create competition. In Sarasota right now, that might mean pricing below a psychological barrier like $599 instead of $615, so that your home shows up in searches for buyers that are looking to create urgency. Now, if you do it right, you have the potential of generating multiple offers and ultimately have the chance of pushing that number up and above the overpriced homes where they eventually sell for after weeks of sitting on the market, sometimes even months. It's not about leaving money on the table. It's about engineering demand for your home. And look, I know this sounds like the kind of thing that might be easy to say, probably harder to execute. So let me make this a little more practical to you. Before you set a price on your home here in the Sarasota area, there are 3 things that you need before you hit the market. First, you need a hyper-local market analysis that looks at the activity in the market for the last 60 to 90 days of sales, not automated estimates, not national averages, a clear picture of the active competition that you're dealing with right now, and not 6 months ago. And a pricing strategy that is built around buyer psychology and real market conditions. Not an algorithm that couldn't even save $1 billion company from itself. That combination is what separates homes that sell fast and strong from homes that sit, drop, and eventually sell for significantly less than they should have sold for in the first place. Look, you wouldn't let an algorithm do your surgery. Don't let it price your biggest asset. Look, I've sold hundreds of homes across the country. I know what buyers are doing right now, what they're skipping past, and exactly how to position your home so that it's not one of the ones that they ignore. One conversation with me is free. Not having it literally could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Don't let that happen. Let's schedule a time to get together so that we can position your property right when it hits the market to give you the best opportunity to create demand and urgency for your home. And if you're still in the research mode, watch the next video and I'm going to break down exactly what buyers in our area are prioritizing right now and how to make sure that your home is one of the ones that they see when it hits the market. Appreciate your time today, and I look forward to connecting with you very soon. Take care.